And
Alright.
it's Tau Day.
Uh,
It is Tau Day. How do you feel
fuck.
about that?
I hate it already. It's
Oh.
Town. Uh,
Okay.
uh,
So just to get us started here, um, I didn't find an awful lot about them. What I
I,
found out was that whenever they were first discovered, they were, pretty basic. They were basically first starting to figure out how fire worked, and
yeah,
the Imperium just kind of decided to leave them alone. Um, or actually, they tried to subjugate them, but at one point, like their world became surrounded by warps, so they couldn't technically get to them right away. So they just decided, you know what, lost cause. Next time they found them,
yeah.
however, they had advanced ridiculously fast. So technologically, they were just on the up and up, and the Imperium's like, okay, what the hell happened? That's not right. You shouldn't be this advanced this quickly.
Oh
So,
dear.
yeah.
Yeah, basically the Tau were like really primitive. Were like really dumb. They were like orcs, but even dumber. And then given like I think it was it was like a few hundred years. All of a sudden, they've got massive spaceships and stuff, and they set up like a society. Well, like many societies similar to like the old Necrons,
Right.
with stuff called the Ethereals, which were like high lords and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, fucking hate it. Everything about the Tau is badly described. Everything about the Tau is just like, we needed a new race. Uh, Steve here's been watching anime. Let's give Warhammer anime robots. Woo! So basically, the Tau were seen as like the objective good guys when they first came out because they just wanted to help people, and they were like so nice, and everybody wanted them, and everybody looked at them and went, "Fuck off!
Hmm.
That's not dark." Now, I'm not saying you can't have nice races and nice things happen in Warhammer, but
Right.
there needs to be edge or like some underlying evil, or if they are nice, just make them flawed, like the blimmin' not. They're not called the lamin. Why do I want to call them the laminators? They're not called the laminators. Laminate, no. Fuck. There's a space marine. There's a space marine chapter that's just really nice, but keeps getting shat on, and it's not called the fucking laminators. The laminators aren't. Piss. Hang on. Yeah, lamenters, not laminators. I was right. I just couldn't say lamenters. Oh dear. But yeah. Anyway. Sorry about that. A little bit of this. Uh, my little bit of discretion.
No
But
worries.
anyway. So the Tau were seen as like this nice race, and they just wanted to help. And then everybody got pissed off, and then they started just going, "Oh, by the way, now they're sort of evil, and the greater good is now a cult, and they're evil, or like they're not evil. They just kidnap people and other lesser races and brainwash them or castrate them and shove them into their army. And I just fucking hate the Tau. Everything about the Tau sucks. The,
Oh,
the way they play on the board,
mhm.
fucking sucks. Horror, like I've never seen an army just played in such a boring way before. Gunline armies are fun. Sometimes they're fun if you play Ultramarines. Sometimes they're fun having like gun lines, but you have some melee dudes and some other dudes that do weird shit. Tau don't have psychers. They barely have any melee units. So what people do is like just shove them right in the back of the board and go, "Hey, guess what? What marker lights that can hit 36 range marker lights So then you have to fight through all of that because Markalites are like, oh, they're just we can I like the way they play, the way their weapons work, the way how they don't have any psychic abilities or any melee apart from the Kroot, but rarely anybody uses the fucking Kroot because the Kroot are terrible.
Right.
It's just I just hate it. I hate how they were introduced. I hate how they are now. And people go, "Oh well, what about Commander Shadow Sun? Isn't she cool?" No, Commander Shadow Sun sucks. It's like a Tau that wants to unite all the bloody ethereal sectors and anyway. So yeah, because the Tau were now evil, there was like these lords, similar to how Necrons were. Basically, the Tau got their story. The Tau basically ripped off Necrons in a lot of the story, as in like there were these high lords swanning about, and then there was this one Tau that went, "Hey, we should all unite." And there was like a tiny war that happened, and then they got together, and then.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. For example, you kind of covered a lot of it really quickly, but the greater good.
No, I can go into more detail.
Let's just start with the greater good, which is basically the what's it called? The Tau philosophy, and from what I'm seeing is a lot of the entire species operates with the ideology that you should always pursue the greater good. And the way that this works is that they're all laser focused on doing something or whatever it is that's in their itinerary so that everyone benefits in the biggest way possible.
Yeah, the greater good is one of these vague things where it's like, where basically it's something for an army to follow. It's similar to like Space Wolves with Wolf Time. Wolf Time, those of you who don't know, is basically a time where the Primarch of the Space Wolves will come back, but he says he's going to come back at Wolf Time, and nobody knows what that is. It's similar to how the Greater Good is, because nobody knows what the Greater Good is, and nobody knows what the Wolf Time is, apart from like a couple of people, maybe. We don't know.
But pretty much that's kind of what makes them appear good guys right off, out of the gate, right? Before we get into the whole stuff about the Ethereals, it basically makes them seem like they're the nice guys because as opposed to what normally, like say for example orcs, which who would decimate anything that stands in their way, the Tau, instead of destroying, I mean, if they come across civilizations or factions that aren't hostile, they choose not to exterminate them. And instead, a lot of the times, what they end up doing is assimilating them. So they just kind of absorb people.
Yes, it was... when they were first released, it was literally they got on well with other people, and if people wanted to join the Tau, that was all fine. But people didn't like that because it was daft. It was like, so there's this one race that's just like Jehovah's Witness levels of peace in the midst of like Tyranids, Orcs, the Imperium,
right?
Like the Adept Mechanicus. Other like the Eldar, Dark Elder, like all these races just wanted to kill each other, but there was just this one race that was like, "Hey, let's just be friends." It felt really out of place.
It really did, and for whenever I was reading up on it, I was like, "Wow, these guys just are the complete opposite of the orcs that we discussed last week." Because I was like, as a matter of fact, there's just a whole list of things in which they're different. So, for example, They don't destroy outright, so a lot of the times they
Oh,
actually choose to avoid fighting. Um, their
they can't.
tactics when they're fighting are the exact opposite because they're not smashed through whatever defenses stand in their way, but rather they're kind of like a hit and run kind of tactic. Um,
Yeah, hit and run.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a Tau hit and run.
Mhm.
Yeah, I haven't at all played 2,000 point games where the guy literally just hid at the far end of the other side of the board and was like, "Oh, you've got to come to me." That's really fun, especially when you've got an army of Terminators that you deep strike some of them in, but you can't deep strike all of them in, so some of them are on the board, and you've got a transport that got shot off. So you just have to waddle your Terminators slowly across a board that's 72 is like a huge fuck off board, and you watch as like the opponent just shoots you. That's really fun.
It sounds like it
I,
would be fun for the Tau player because he didn't have to
yeah.
really stress that
I
much.
did I did win though
Okay, good.
because yeah, because the guy forgot about objective markers. So basically, there was one objective marker in a building, another one inside another one. So basically, split up and just made him come towards me, and that's when I got into melee, and I just beat the shit out of him and his Tau.
Well,
I'm
if
kidding.
whatever
I'm
works.
kidding. I beat the shit out of him. Oh, you didn't. In truth, it was quite a cool game. It was really chilled. I just hate playing against gun lines. It's so you can't do a lot with gun lines. But yeah, there is. However, I will say this: I have seen people start to use melee Tau lists, as
Okay.
in like guns with short range, pack a punch, but short range,
Hmm.
and they use small recruit. Basically, you just charge a bunch of recruit in, and they do like a bunch of attacks.
Hmm.
So melee Tau is starting to be a thing, but
That's
there's still
weird.
yeah, it's melee Tau or like close combat Tau, and I kind of like the whole like you said hit and run play style, but it's just that with the weapons you're allowed to use as Tau, a lot of them sort of encourage hide like a million miles away with your shield drones and just shoot.
Right. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I can see how that would be frustrating. So, let's see. We're so they don't destroy, rather absorb. Some factions join them willingly. I noticed.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
I think the crew did.
yes.
I can't remember, but I think the crew actually did, as well as like a couple of others.
Hmm.
In fact, even shit, I forgot the story completely. But I know there's like a group of guardsmen that got, put into the Tau, like joined the Tau willingly after they lost a bunch of their men, so they just joined with the Tau.
Hmm.
I think they retconned it so that the Tau basically kidnapped a bunch of guardsmen and just turned them into like mindless drones instead because it wasn't grimdark enough. Nah.
Yeah, I can see that.
But
But
yeah,
it's a huge mess for anyone who's a member of the Imperium, though. Like if they were originally Imperium and then they choose to, just kind of join the Tau, I don't think the Imperium takes kindly to that, do they?
no. The Imperium's very much like you do anything other than like the Imperial Creed or the Imperial Truth, we will just shoot you to death.
Yeah, like you guys are heretics now.
Yeah, the whole trying to get all the worlds working together sort of fell on its ass a lot. I mean, now Roberto Gilliman's trying to do like the whole let's get like the Elder working with us thing,
Hmm.
but luckily for everyone, Luckily for everybody who reads the books, everybody else is like, nah, fuck Gilliman. No, solid, we don't care. Why is he working with the Eldar, the little shit? Nah, fuck you. We don't want to work with you, Gilliman. You smell. You were. Where were you anyway? We like how things were, and then you turn up, and then Gilliman gets depressed again. That's basically the life of Gilliman now. Is like he shows up, he wants a favor. People are in awe at him for being like probably the only loyal living Primarch
Yeah.
until Lionel or someone else comes back. And basically, they all go, "Oh, you're amazing. Will you do this favor for me?" No. Oh. It's basically the life of Gilliman. I'm depressed, and the only person that listens to me is out an Eldar. Why?
So,
Anyway, yeah.
I was gonna ask you regarding regarding their accelerated technological advancement. We've discussed in the past that artificial intelligence is a bad thing. As a matter of fact,
it's banned by the Imperium.
And it's become known as abominable intelligence, in fact, because of problems that have occurred in the past.
The Imperium just doesn't trust AI. Other races might use AI. It's just that the Imperium is like, no, we don't want another Men of Iron situation happening.
Yeah,
we don't want to be, or unless you're the Adaptus Mechanicus, who might have like a hidden, like AI somewhere.
So, is it do they have access to AI? Is that something that they use, or is it just?
I think they don't, but I think a lot of the way the Tau are, very intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Ethereals and everything are like very intelligent. It's just like at the speed. However, their technology is somewhat limited. I mean, their guns and weapons and ships are like are like the best.
Mm-hmm.
However, they can't use the warp.
Okay.
They just can't use the warp. Or if they do, I think no, they can use like a tiny bit of the warp to travel, but it's at a slower speed, so they can't get affected by chaos at all because they don't use the warp properly or something.
Okay.
They don't have the webway like the Eldar do, so they just spend forever just traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't have psychers. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's one way to get around it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Tau technology. It's just Tau technology. Apart from like a couple of characters,
Mm-hmm.
like a couple of Tau, they just use like mechs and everything. They're chilling. They don't really need to go anywhere. To be fair, it's like we've got shit sorted out here.
Yeah.
However, I will say there is a short story where like the Death Guard are really pissed off with the Tau, but the Tau don't know what the Death Guard are or what Nurgle is. So it's like, shit, what is it? They don't. I think it's Commander Shadow Sun's story, where basically she's on this ship, and the Death Guard are just really pissed off with the Tau. So the Tau are like wondering, what the fuck is this? What's a Nurgle? What's a Death Guard? There's some enjoyable stuff about the Tau.
I mean, they didn't seem to be all bad. I gotta say, until we reach the next part that I have in my notes, I actually kind of liked them. This next part gets kind of complicated. So,
for me,
this is let's talk about what what I found to be called the Montauk Conflict.
Oh yeah. Oh God, that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, basically, there's like I forgot if they were gods or something, but each Tau sect basically worship like a different Tau order or god or something. Anyway, you explain it because, or you read what you have in your notes because I need to remember.
Basically, all I have in my notes was that there seemed to be some Tau that were living in the city, and then some other Tau that were more. I don't want to say that they were feral, but that they were. They existed outside of the city, out in the wilds or something, and they just had conflict with each other, and it turned into an all-out war. And basically, the ones in the city were being sieged by the ones outside, to the point where they were just trapped within the confines of their established borders and all that. And all of this comes to an end when two Tau show up. One of them goes to the Tau that are attacking the city, and just the moment he speaks, it's like everyone just goes with it. Like
Yeah.
they do not resist him. As a matter of fact, he just says, "Hey, I need to talk to whoever's in charge here. Let's start considering peace as an option." And all of them, they were in the middle of a war, and the moment he says this, they're just like, "Yeah, okay, we can do that." And then we have the second one goes to the city, and basically same thing. Hey, let's how's about we just stop the fighting altogether? And everyone in the city is just like, you know what? I like the sound of that. Let's do that. And so this conflict that had been going on for quite some time ends in one day because two Tau, who turned out to be the first Ethereals, show up and tell everyone, how's about we work together for the greater good? And that's it. End of story. I didn't find where they came from or what their names were, but
Yeah. I know. I know. There's. Yeah. That's. Yeah, that sounds right. Actually, basically, yeah, that's correct. Two Tau basically stopped an entire war,
yeah.
which for them, I guess. The eight is actually an elite. Well, it's sort of like it's like the best of the best battle suit team, and
Mhm.
it's like the Tau answer to the Adeptus Custodes,
Uh-huh.
where they're like the most elite of the elite, and they also act as a war council.
Okay.
They're led by Commander Farsight. Nah. He's
Yeah, not
actually led by Sheriff himself, and basically they're just eight really tough Tau dudes that just swan around and go, yeah, by the way, we just want to fuck stuff up, and they're like really powerful. Yeah, no, I was not happy with Markolites. I'm still not happy with Markolites. Can I explain what Markolites are?
Yes, please hit me with it. I
Right,
want to know what's causing you so much distress.
Markolites are the thing that keeps me up at night. Markolites, right? Markolites are an in-game, on the tabletop thing a Tau can use.
Okay.
You hit on four. Now the normal Tau infantry squad hits on fours.
Okay.
So you probably think, oh, that's not so bad. However, you can use Markolites. If you use Markolites, all of the people in the Tau squad or like many Tau infantry can use Markolites, and that sticks with a unit throughout the entire game. In fact, hang on, give me a second. I think we got to remove like the whole. Can you put elevator music while I do this?
I will try to.
I'll try. I don't know. Yeah. Markelites. I think I wrote it really late at night as well. But we can use a useful website to describe what Markelites actually do. I just have to find it. There's a lot of. I got a feeling like the whole note thing might need to be edited out as well.
Okay, no worries.
Like what I said then. Right, so anyway, this is the new take. Markelites. So Markelites are basically. Piss. Where are they? Why can't I get anything?
It sounds like they're just stressful altogether.
Yeah. Right, Markelites. Found it. So, new take, forget everything else. So,
alright.
Markelites are basically heavy 1. For those of you who don't play on tabletop, heavy 1 basically means that if you move then shoot, it's -1 to hit unless you're in a vehicle or it's a vehicle firing. But if you don't move, which Tau don't, you can use Markelites. Well, you can use Markelites anyway, and you can't fire any other weapons in that phase. They're one shot, but like all of a strike team can use Markelites. So that's up to how big's a strike team? That's up to 12 shots if you've got a squad of 4 or 5, and if you hit on a 4. Then you have to bring out the Markelite table. Now, the Markelite table is where the fun begins, because Markelites just... it seems like they remain for like the entire game. They don't. It's throughout the remainder of that phase. But at the same time, the amount of shooting the town does, it might as well be all game. So if you just got a squad dedicated to firing Markelites, you get these benefits. So if one Markelite hits a model, you can re-roll hit rolls of 1 for every Tau model in your army.
Wow.
On that one unit that you got Markelites. It gets worse. If you fire 2 Markelites and they stick, Destroyer and Seeker missiles fired at this unit may use the firing model's ballistic skill and any modifiers rather than only hitting on a 6. So, which means that if you've got homing missiles that you don't need line of sight on, hitting a model from like a million miles away, it means you can hit on 3s instead of 6s and re-rolling 1s.
Okay.
You get 3 Markelites.
Yeah.
If you get 3 Markelites on a unit, the target unit does not gain any bonus to its saving throws for being in cover. So if you're in a building, you no longer get cover. Like, cover, nope, fuck you. 4 Markelites. Gets worse. 4 Markelites. Tau Empire models attacking this unit do not suffer the penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons or advancing and firing assault weapons. So if you've got an assault weapon, which, you know, is for like punchy Tau lists,
yes,
and instead of like hitting on 4s, you're probably now just hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s, and the opponent doesn't get any benefit for cover. If you land 5 or more Markelites...
God, help me, really? It just keeps going.
Yeah, 5 or more Markelites, add 1 to hit rolls for Tau Empire models attacking this unit. So, it means that it's entirely possible for a tank with a Seeker and Destroyer missiles of having a ballistic skill of 3, then hitting on like 2s, re-rolling 1s.
Golly, I don't even know what to make of this anymore. Wow.
Now do you see my problem?
Yes.
I hate this. Oh, this is so annoying! Why would you make an army like this? Why? Why do you do this? Oh, but that one unit can't fire. Well, guess what? It gets worse, because guess how many points 1 Tau Fire Warrior is?
How many points?
9 sodding points.
Oh
That
God.
means for a squad of 10, it's 90 points. 2,000 game, 90 points is fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You can have an entire legion of Tau fire warriors just popping marker lights at you, while like the bigger units just hang back and fire shit at you. I don't like the Tau. And the range of the marker light is 36 inches. It's more than a bolter, a combi bolter. It's more than some sniper rifles. It's more than like some plasma weapons. It's a pointless act. It's pointless. Once a unit has 5 marker lights, just assume it's dead. Just assume it's dead at that point. Just assume that it's dead.
Oh, good. That sounds frustrating.
And it gets worse.
How can it get worse?
Because, dear listeners, Tau weapons aren't just like heavy ones, so it isn't like you get one shot. You get a missile pod, which is 36 inches, assault 2, strength 7, AP -1, damage D3. But that's only one model, right? So the Pulse Carbine is assault 2, strength 5, AP nothing, damage -1.
Okay. Oh my
If you're
God.
within 12 inches, you get to throw a photon grenade. Basically, this weapon does not inflict any damage, but your opponent must subtract 1 from any hit rolls made for infantry units that has suffered hits from the photon grenade, and it's D6. The pulse rifle is rapid fire 1, which means that if it's half range, so 15 inches, you get to fire it twice.
Oh my God. So it's non-stop damage, basically, is what it is. It's a snowballing effect. Like, it starts off small, but the more that you let it go on, it's just wow.
Yeah, and the fact that this applies for like Tau Empire, basically it means the entire Tau army get the buffs. So, hang on, right. Let's look at the TX-7 Hammerhead Gunship. Its ballistic skill is 3. Some of its weapons. It has a rail gun, 72 inches, heavy. You can either fire it once, heavy one, strength 10, AP -4, damage D6. Each time you make a wound roll of 6 for this weapon, the target unit suffers D3 mortal wounds on top of it, in addition of the normal damage. So,
my God.
If you got marker lights, you can re-roll hit rolls of 1 and it hits on 2s. Or if you're feeling like, okay, there's a horde coming, you can use the railgun's sub-emissions. Heavy D6, strength 6, AP -1, damage 1, hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s. Because marker lights, Tau Empire, and they don't get the benefit of cover if they are in cover. You can use a Seeker missile, which... Oh, okay then. The Seeker missile isn't that bad, actually. Why would you pay points for a Seeker missile? My God, it's useless. I've never known. So, okay, the Tau got a weapon called the Seeker missile.
Okay.
I did not know that. It's the worst thing I've seen. So, you get one shot with the Seeker missile, right?
Right.
Strength 8, AP -2, damage D6. Sounds good, right?
Yeah, potentially.
The ability next to it. Each Seeker missile may only be used once. Let me say that again. Once
Okay.
per battle. Which means you can only use it once per game. This weapon only hits on a roll of 6. 6. Why? Why would you give yourself a seeker missile? But in regards to why would you do this? Oh, but you can reroll ones if there's a tau marker light on a unit you're firing at. Why would you do this? Why? Why? Why would you use a fucking seeker missile? And it just seems so pointless. Oh no, that's the worst shit I've ever read. like it's up there on shit rules. It's up there for like really shit rules.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you have to pay 5 points as well to bring a seeker missile with you. Why? Why would
So,
you do that thing?
that is just the most... Yeah, I don't get it.
Me neither. But this weapon only hits on a roll of a 6.
Well, those are awesome odds, I guess, question mark?
Rerolling ones hitting on 6. Whoa. Oh, but it gets better. This model may take up to 2 seeker missiles. Ooh. Why?
Just because you can.
Why, though? I mean, you know what's worse?
What's that?
You can either replace the railgun with an ion cannon. The ion cannon is 5 points.
Okay.
The seeker missile. Its range is 60 inches, heavy 3, or heavy 6, strength 7, AP -2, damage 2.
Okay.
The D6 is overcharged. Strength 8, AP -2, damage 3. If you roll one or more hit rolls of 1, the bearer suffers an mortal wound, but you can re-roll the 1.
Okay.
Why would you bring a seeker missile when you can just bring an ion cannon?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds to me like it just outclasses it altogether. And, I mean, barring any kind of passive...
You can't replace the seeker missile. I guess the seeker missile is like, here, bring it if you want, but on a roll of 6. Come on. I'm actually trying to figure out why anyone would bring one. It's broken me. Like, I am currently confused at the idea of the seeker missile. Why would you bring one? Oh, but I need it for like the range. Well, keep the rail cannon. Keep the rail cannon. You fire it many times. 1, strength 10, AP -4, damage D6. It doesn't cost any. This weapon has the seeker missile has broken me. I've never known such a shit weapon to exist for town. It's so shit. So on a hit roll of 6. I don't know what to say. I'm actually flabbergasted. Like, what do you even say to that?
Don't bring a seeker missile?
Why would you bring one? You're hitting on 6s regardless.
Oh
So
my
even
God.
if you got like 5 marker lights, you're still hitting on 6s. Why would you do this to yourself? Oh, mate, okay. That's broken me. That has actually broken. Hitting on 6s. Come on. Oh.
Oh
dear.
my God.
I don't even know what to say about that. Hitting on 6s. How the... You know, it's not the worst. It's not. It's not the worst rule in the game. That has to go to the word bearers. I feel so sorry for the word bearers because they have a rule. Their entire legion has a rule.
Yes.
If you re-roll, you can re-roll your morale phase.
Okay.
That's it. You can re-roll your morale phase. Space Marines have a morale of like 9,
Mm-hmm.
or like leadership of 9. It's pointless. It really is pointless. Unless you got cultists, which you expect to die because they're cheap. I think they're 5 points.
I mean, just.
Super missile hits on a 6. Come on. Oh,
Oh
oh
my
dear.
god.
I'm gonna. You know what? I'm going to look at more tales. Oh no, no. Oh, I found something worse. I
Uh,
found something worse. I found something worse.
okay. What you got?
Right. I think the Tau that I think the two Tau that managed to stop a war
Mm-hmm.
are called Unfaya and Unshaya. The ethereal supreme of the Tau Castle. Yeah,
Okay.
basically he's an almost religious figure.
Got it.
Now, anyway, so we've got the names. So this guy, God bless him, he's 85 points. So you probably think he's a cheap character, but he might do something decent.
Yes.
No. He's equipped with a weapon called the Honor Blade. It's a melee weapon. On a
Oh.
strength way, it gets better. He has no gun. The dude has no gun.
Hmm.
Has no gun. His weapon skill, which is his melee skill, is 6. Is 6. Let me just say that again. His weapon skill is 6. His only weapon is a knife. It's a knife. It's the Honor Blade. It's. Guess what his strength is?
I'm gonna guess not very much, considering Tau usually try to avoid head-on fighting.
But guess what his strength is? Strength and toughness.
No clue. What you got?
Right. His strength is 2. Is 2. That's less than a grot. Or I think it's the same or less than a grot. His toughness is 3. He's got 6 wounds, but only 1 attack.
Wow.
But he does bring with him 2 ethereal guards. They hit on freeze, wound on freeze. They're armed with the honor blade, so it's like 5 because it adds 2. So strength 5, hits on freeze, toughness 3, wounds 2, attacks 3. I have nothing more to say.
That seems to kind of mitigate the downside a little bit, right?
A little bit, but then again, look at it gets better.
Okay.
Because his abilities with Onvaya, I don't AUN apostrophe VA. How the
Mm-hmm.
hell do you say it? He can use Grand Invocation of the Elements. You need to be within 6 inches of a friendly Empire or Battlesuit model, and you can choose one of these abilities. Subtract 1 for any morale phase. Reroll hit rolls of 1 in the shooting phase. That's pointless. You've got marker lights if you want to reroll hit rolls of 1. Stone. Whenever a model in an effective unit loses a wound, Roll a d6 on a 6. That model doesn't lose that wound. You can re-roll the dice for affected units when they advance. Only one of those is kind of useful. I got a feeling there's going to be a Tau player just really pissed off at me because I'm not giving the Tau a fair chance. But then you look at Unshi, and he's fucking cool. His weapon skill hits on 2s. He's got 5 attacks. He's got like the honor blade. His strength is 3 plus 2, so it's strength 5. He's fucking cool. He's got an ability called Blade Master. Unshi's close combat attacks have an AP -2. That's fucking cool. He has a 4-up invulnerable save, which the other guy does not. And he can also use Invocation of the Elements. And he doesn't have Ethereal Guards with him. He's fucking cool. Why would you bring the other guy? And he's less points. He's 55 points. Why the fuck would you bring Unva or whatever his name is?
Just for style, I guess.
No. I don't know. Oh dear. It gets worse. I'm still trying to piece my head around the Seeker missile. That thing broke me. I can't imagine why you would ever pay points to bring it. Why would you bring the Seeker missile? You hit on 6s. Oh dear. Any more notes? Have you got any more notes?
Oh yes. I was actually about to ask you about the 5 casts.
Oh, okay. I got confused. The 5 casts are basically like the different the different things Tau follow, or the different societies Tau sort of believe in.
Right.
Sort of like all clans in a way.
Yes.
So like how clans work.
I saw that their casts basically have different obligations within their society. So, like, their fire caste is their warriors.
Yeah, so, like, fire caste is, like, basic warriors and shit.
Yeah.
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 I don't know that much about the Tau, but I've just learnt that one of their HQs is pointless, and one of their weapons
is stupid.
The thing I have ever seen, and it's not even a Seeker missile. I thought it'd be like you can't see the target, but -1 to hit. I thought it'd be like something interesting. No, on a 6, regardless of modifiers. Why would you bring one? Desperately trying to work out why you would bring a fucking. I can't think why.
I can't say why either, honestly, because for the most part, it sounds to me like it's just bad all around.
Yeah,
and it costs too much for what it does, is the other thing.
It's 5 points, so I guess you probably might think, oh, let's just put, 5 points of an explosive on, your tank. But why? You can save the points and give yourself, like, another fire warrior or something.
Yeah. I mean, but I imagine that it's kind of a lot like that with what do you call it? With a lot of different factions here, right? So like, obviously, whenever you're building like an orc army, there's certain things that you just wouldn't bring with you, right? So it's probably kind of this.
With the orcs, the reason, the orcs, your shooting phase, you're hitting on 5s and 6s.
Mm-hmm.
and like there's some benefit because you probably it's difficult to explain, but with orcs it's sort of like, okay, on a 5 and 6 I've got lots of shots,
Mm-hmm.
so at some point I'm gonna hit. But on a weapon where you can only fire once per game
Mm-hmm.
and you need a 6 to fire it, I don't understand. I really don't understand the point. Like, I am so confused by that
Maybe
weapon.
maybe they got a different play style than than most of the other stuff that you're used to. A lot of the times, it might
Yeah,
serve a purpose that is just not outright obvious right out of the gate.
yeah. I know, but sixes. It's like, when I understand some weapons where it's like a bit janky, like
Right.
the old style plague flamethrower thing Death
Yes.
Guard used to have. That thing was janky. Like you could have 6 shots of strength 2, or like, or like one shot of strength 12. Something
Right.
ridiculous. But it was like a flamethrower, so it automatically hit. It was the jankiest weapon ever.
Hmm.
But you would bring it because it would deter a lot of melee guys. Your range was like 9 inches. So if someone declared a charge within 9 inches, you could just go, right, I'm going Overwatch and melt. I think that's changed now.
Hmm.
But, I understand weapons with situational uses. I like using dumb weapons. I like playing dumb. I mean, my Black Templar army is probably the best dumb army I've ever done
Hmm.
because it's literally no flying, no tanks, one ironclad dreadnought, an Emperor's Children, 2 Primaris lieutenants, a chapter master, a vanguard detachment, and like 40 assault intercessors.
Hmm.
It's the dumbest thing possible. But that's fun. I understand the Seeker missile because it might be like a rush of adrenaline if you get that 6, and it's
Yes.
like yeah, that. But why would you like? It's a Tau weapon. I guess I'm more in shock because it's a Tau weapon
Right.
because Tau usually do really well in the shooting phase.
Right.
But seeing a weapon that just does shit in the shooting phase surprises me.
Uh. Well, maybe
Dear.
it's a variety thing, like maybe it's just to provide the capacity to play a different how would I put this? Play your strategies a little different from what you would normally expect. Just a bit of an element of surprise, I guess.
Yes, I fire Seeker missile. What do you hit on 6s? Oh shit, I'm scared.
No, but you are surprised.
Yes, you are surprised. You'll be surprised. Oh dear.
So basically, I pulled up here that the five casts of the Tau all kind of do different things. Like we mentioned before, the fire cast is your warriors. The earth cast is takes care of manufacturing, industry, art,
I
and engineering.
Yeah, I kind of like. Okay, I'm not the biggest fan of Tau. I think how they were introduced was kind of lame, and how the changes to them were kind of lame.
Mhm.
I do like the different sort of casts. I do really enjoy the different casts. So like Earth cast,
Yes.
so cool. It's so cool just having like it's like what orcs have, but if the orcs didn't fight each other constantly,
Right.
is you made the orc comparison earlier.
Hmm.
Orcs are always fighting, but they are and Tau always work together. But the Tau are sort of like the Tau are like what are like a weird what if situation or like a
Yes.
what scenario. So, like, what if all the orcs stopped fighting each other and started working together? I guess this is what the orcs would then turn into the Tau, only big, green, violent, and silly.
Right. I definitely gotta say that I do enjoy the orc personality a lot more.
Yeah,
I feel like they're definitely a lot more fun.
Tau don't really have a personality. That's the problem. Like with all these characters
Well,
and
they
when
do is the thing. You know, they do have a personality, but their personality is just such a stark contrast to the rest of the Warhammer universe that they
yeah,
just
man,
feel like they're out of place, you know?
they really are out of place.
Yeah.
Like, with the Tau, they are really out of place. Because the Tau sort of Ethereals act really noble and stuff,
Yes.
and it just feels really weird because you have the Eldar
Right.
who acts selfish and like, oh well, we once had the best empire, but the Tau sort of don't act like it. It's really off. A lot of them machines and stuff look really off as well.
Yes, they certainly don't look like they fit. So they're kind of weird, you know. But and we're getting to the part right now where it's about to get dark. So kind
Yeah.
of bear with me, because you know,
How many of
in
these?
Warhammer, you know, everything's got to be really grim dark, and for the minute,
How,
it
I
just looks like the
wonder
Tau
how
are
much of
not.
this is going to be edited out to just so it can have a flow.
Oh, I was gonna leave the whole thing about the seeker missile in. I was not gonna mess
Oh,
with that
good. I
whatsoever.
hope you do. I hope you do because that thing broke me. I like the Seeker missile. Oh, dear. I hope you do. There's some. Just
Yeah,
edit out. Like,
I was not gonna
just,
mess with that whatsoever. I'm like, no, that needs to stay in because that was perfect.
yeah, but yeah,
So, you
I
know,
will.
just a real quick, like, you know, just to wrap up on the casts here. Aircast is, they look like they're the merchant fleet. We got the water cast, which do public service. They're
Reminds
traders,
me
they're
of like
bureaucrats.
Last Airbender. This really does remind me of the like Last Airbender.
Right, doesn't it? It's like everything changed when the fire cast attacked. But
But
we
not like
get.
the good cartoon Airbender either. It reminds me of
Right.
like the M Night Shyamalan
Oh
Airbender.
no.
We
It just,
are.
it like, you know, it should make sense, but it doesn't. It's just bad. But
So, I just, you know what? You know, like the infamous scene where like Aang in the film does like the whole dramatic speech to like the Rock Nation.
oh
And it's like,
yeah.
you are. I want someone to Photoshop in a towel head onto the kid's body as he's doing that speech, and
Lord.
behind him is just like a bunch of missiles.
You
Just
know how the
you.
seeker missile broke you. That scene broke me, because after he gives that speech and it takes four
Oh,
earthbenders to move one rock, I was like, you serious here? Come on.
yeah. It's so good. Oh no. You know what? If this is in the video,
Yeah.
I want someone out there to edit the scene so like a towel head is imposed on everybody's body, right?
Yes.
So it's like angry the big speech, and that little rock, I want it to be a seeker missile, and I want that little rock to be a seeker missile, and like it's cut in with some guy rolling a dice. He rolls a 6, and then the rock thing. Like,
Oh, that'd be crazy. Oh man. Well, there you have it. Comment section. Can you do it?
yes, all two of you listening.
All of you listening. But now we get to the part where it gets dark. Cause
Oh
then
yes, edgy me up, boy.
here it comes, here it comes. The last cast in the Tau is the Ethereal Cast, which is basically like I don't want to say royalty, that feels like it's off, but yes, kind of. The
Yeah.
Ethereals are the ones who rule all over all of the Tau, and at first glance, they look like they're really stand-up guys. You know, like, hey, we don't fight, we don't destroy, we ask people to join us, and if they join us, we're all good. Yeah, you
Have
know,
you
like.
seen the stats for like Bayer? The poor fucker hits on sixes.
Oh god. So,
Like
you know,
that.
all in all, they seem like really cool dudes. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
And we go back to the conflict where whenever they first showed up, and you know, they asked people to stop fighting, and they followed those directions. And that kind of doesn't make any damn sense when you think about it. You know, like, we've been at this war forever. Hey, please stop. Okay. So there's a lot of speculation that the Ethereals are actually mind controlling all of the Tau race.
That the if the I don't like it. I don't like that. Feels really out of place, even in Warhammer. Just all of a sudden, mind control. Mm. Mm. It feels like, oh, oh dear. It feels like all of a sudden it's gone. Oh, by the way, the Tau have MK Ultra.
Basically, yeah, it feels really weird, you know.
Yeah, it just feels out of place, like for like the
because
Ethereals to also go, oh, let's hypnotize you.
right, because when you look at it, the rest of Warhammer is so direct. You know, it's like, hey, we're all about war. You know, like, you got your armies, and your armies fight each other head on. They might have sneaky tactics, but these guys are like, we conquered an entire race by asking politely, and now we control them. It's like, I'm sorry, what? So
yeah, because a lot of it, I mean, the Imperial, I mean, each army has control. Someone has control over something. So, like, the Imperium has control over brainwashing and propaganda. Like, you know, and like, almost, yeah, it's like brainwashing propaganda. If you do something wrong, will kill you. It's, you know, ruling through brutality. The Chaos Gods rule through like sneaky favors, or like almost like trickery, and like, or Nurgle or Khorne, and it's like, you know, control through trickery.
right.
Tyranids control. Tyranids are more control through through like biology. You know, with like the hive ship basically like planting down like spores or something, and people eat the spores.
Right.
Orcs control through brutality, and the Eldar control through necessity. That's how I see it. Like, the Dark Eldar sort of need to control through necessity, otherwise Slanesh will just kill them. But with how it just feels really out of place. It feels really out of place. Like, everything feels out of place. I can't put my finger on it.
It's almost like they belong in a different universe. Like, I would say that they belong more in Star Trek than they do in Warhammer. You know? Yeah. That's almost what it feels like.
Yeah, and though, you know, I joke a lot about hating the Tau, I don't necessarily hate the Tau. I just, there's just a lot of things that confuse me, and if you do play Tau, then you should, because the Tau, other than the Seeker missile, have a lot of good weapons, and I understand the appeal of Tau. I understand it. I understand the appeal of Tau. I understand the whole let's gun everything down, fuck everything else. I understand it. I just don't understand their place in the lore, or like the backstories, or anything. It just seems really weird, and also the fact you can't get like Chaos Tau even though there's a warp storm. It seems really strange that the town wouldn't know what chaos is, or doesn't, or I don't know, because a warp storm happened like like you said, a million warp storms happened around the planet. So
Right.
it just seems really off how the Tau don't use the warp or anything. It just
Do you
they
kind of consider that maybe the ethereals have something to do with it?
if
You
it
know.
turns out that the Ethereals are actually run by the powers of the warp, that would annoy me even more. Because that would seriously annoy me, and I know it would annoy a lot of Tau players if all of a sudden it goes, whoops, now they're connected with the warp. I mean, how? I mean, the way I would write it would be like primitive race, and then all of a sudden they advance, but have them be like a more controlled hive mind,
Right.
or something like the next ones, where it's like they're actually like a precursor race that just escaped, because the warp messes with time. So have like the warp storm blow in, and
Mm.
have it be like, I don't know, the Tau have been actually evolving for like a million years, but then by the time the warp storm ended, it turns out it's only been a couple of 100 years. That's how they're so advanced, because they've had millions of years inside the warp,
Mm.
but not being actually controlled by the warp. But like, with how the warp storms warp time and everything, have it feel like so like the Tau's been evolving throughout billions of years, and then when the warp storms end, it's only been like a couple of years. That would make a lot more sense to me, and
Yeah,
that and
it's
that would
almost like they
explain
have all
why.
the. Sorry,
Yeah,
I was just saying it seems like they have all of the tools that they need to make the Tau make sense and feel like they fit in closer to
yeah.
what the.
Or instead of making them grimdark,
Uh huh.
uh, was to appease fans. I mean, have them be like a peaceful race because they had literally millions of years of non-war and everything, and have them deliberately try and figure out how the war works, and have like the Imperium and like Inquisition sort of come up to them and trying to like get them on side with the human race. Have Gilliman come up to the town and have them side with the humans or something, and have like the Adeptus Mechanicus trying to steal their weapons and stuff. Just have like the Tau be deliberately out of place. Don't try and force them in to be like, ooh, edgy. Have them deliberately out of place.
Right.
Instead of just introducing them and going, oh, by the way, they're just a new race. A warp storm happened and they're like really intelligent. Explain more about what actually happened.
Right.
It's only the warp storm. It's like the warp storms around the planet that sort of annoy me, because you could have done. There
Like they
is a
had
way to make
such
the town.
opportunities, but no.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't like. I don't. The Tau to me, I will say their models do look cool. Some of
Okay.
their models look cool.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
the battle suits look cool. I have nothing wrong with big dumb mechs. I I like Imperial Knights, so I like big dumb mechs. I like how the Tau are, and I like the introduction of melee Tau lists or hit and run Tau lists instead of gun lines.
Right.
Just don't understand how they fit. That's my issue.
Right.
That's my issue. Like they just don't feel Warhammery enough, or if they do, it feels forced.
I can
You could
understand
have
that.
so much.
Like they just don't seem as brutal as the other races. So yeah, I get it. They seem kind of weird. They're more mind gamey, and that's just
Yeah,
odd.
yeah,
So to wrap up my notes, like the last thing I have written here is Commander Puretide and Commander Foresight.
yes.
Yeah.
Foresight, Foresight. You
Yep.
mean Farsight?
Farsight. Sorry. It looked like my handwriting's terrible. I thought I said Foresight.
Wonderful. Yeah. I mentioned briefly like the eight.
Right.
Commander Farsight, pretty cool. He he's just like a Tau war cancel that wants to get shit done,
Hmm.
and he's got like eight big lads with him. and that's it. Oh, they're all being led by another Tau, but Commander Farsight's just like, yeah, let's shoot things with our rockets and shit. Woohoo!
It gets the job done, I imagine.
Yeah. Basically, Commander Farsight is sort of like the big army general of the Tau.
Righto. So he would be like comparable to like the Gaskell Fracker of the Tau, kind of, sort of.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah.
A lot of this, I feel, like be edited out.
But it's surprising because because my notes on this one were bare bones. Like I said, I tried looking into it, but a lot of it just kind of seemed
Not a lot of lore. There is not a lot of lore with Tau.
Exactly.
I mean, I can ramble for days about how they play on the tabletop.
Yeah.
Seriously, and like, if you play Tau, try and use Kroot. I really like Kroot. You don't see them a lot because they're old and people don't use Kroot, but Kroot are fun.
So
Kroot have like big. Yeah.
That is something that I should bring up here. The Kroot is basically like I don't want to say that they're a less advanced species because they're not, but they're basically like the sorry, was that?
The Tau basically sort of indoctrinated the crew and went, right, you're literally going to be like cannon fodder for us.
Yes.
And the crew are like, all right then, mate. And then
exactly.
but here's the weird thing: crew have got really good at melee. Like crew can easily take down a squad of Space Marines. Like they're really good at melee, like, surprisingly good.
It's what I had written down here. They're like the Tau's attack dogs almost.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, and they have got one of my favorite unit, the Krutox Riders. The Krutox Riders are just fucking amazing. I like the Krutox Riders because if memory serves me correctly, Krutox Riders are Kroot, but they're on top of like some odd. You ever play Abe's Odyssey or Munch's Odyssey or Oddworld? Any games from Oddworld?
No, I.
Right. Okay. So in Abe's Odyssey, there's a sort of beast Abe can ride, and it looks like that, only slightly more brutish, and it's goddamn adorable. It's so fluffy. It's got fur and it's like fluffy, and I just want to pet one. It's like the weird. It's like a Kroot that didn't make. It's like a Kroot that didn't know it evolved yet. It's adorable.
I love it.
I will send you the picture. But basically, the Kroot Riders are basically they ride on top of these weird bird-looking things, and they have giant turrets attached. And they're just the best.
That sounds cool as hell. I like that.
Yeah, they're amazing. They are amazing. And they shoot on. They are quite decent, actually. They shoot on 4s with a Kroot gun, which is strength 7, AP -1, damage D3. And the melee weapon is literally like the little Krutox fists. They punch things and like they've got strength 6, AP nothing, damage 2, so they can easily kill a Space Marine.
No, I just got the picture. I love the look of that. That is so cool.
Yeah, they're amazing. And it gets even better. I have played against them, and they are just the best. I played against a guy that had like I think he had like 12 of these. So like 4 squads. 4 squads of 3. and they're just the best things to play against. They've got 4 wounds, and you can give them a little stratagem,
Yeah.
which means that the armor characteristics, the armor penetration characteristics, become AP -2. So it's strength 6, AP -2, damage 2 for 1 command point.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just the best. They move 7 inches plus 6 to move if you advance.
Uh-huh.
So they're really good at holding objectives, and they're really good at melee. And
Well,
like, surprisingly, they're decent at shooting. But not enough people use them. Not
why
enough
is
people use.
why is that though? I mean, they sound like they're a really well-rounded unit.
They are because they're not. They can't use marker lights.
Oh, I see. Okay, so we're going back to that.
Yeah, they can't use marker lights. They haven't got that best. The recruit gun, though, is decent. It's not, good enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame. But you also have a crew. You've also got another crew unit called the Crew Shaper, and the Crew Shaper is really cool. Now, you can either bring the Crew Rifle, which is rapid fire 1, or the Pulse Rifle, depending what you want. However, the Crew Shaper are like basically just old crew. Just like really old crew. They're just like they're sort of like crew elders, and they've got an ability called Wisest of their kind. And crew unit within 6 inches of a friendly crew shaper may use the shaper's leadership instead of their own, and you get to reroll wound rolls of 1 for friendly crew units within 6 inches of this model. And they're like crew lieutenants. You get to reroll ones, and like they're just really cool, and they just hunt stuff. And I like the crew more than I like the Tau, because the crew are just I don't know. I just like the crew. I really like the crew because they got some of the weirdest units in the game, and they're just really interesting because no one knows how they sort of come about. They don't know if they're like a slight defect of Tau or what. They're just some sort of aliens that just were there, and the Tau went, "Oi, work for us," and yeah.
Yeah.
I just like the crew. You know what? I'm going to title this video, I like Kroot more than Tau.
Well, we started off with the video with you saying that you didn't like the Tau at all. So I mean, honestly, nothing's changed. It's just I like the Kroot.
I like the Kroot. I like some of the Tau models.
Okay.
I just even like the good shit in Tau that I see on like. I just don't like them. I just don't. They're not that interesting. They don't really contribute anything to the lore often.
Yeah, because it looks like they're completely detached from the lore for the most part. So that was I'm guessing that's why the notes were just like not as robust as whenever I researched orcs, because
Tyranids contribute more to the lore than the Tau. Tyranids are literally just big non-bugs.
Yeah.
Just playing Pac-Man throughout the galaxy. I mean, Psychic Awakening has some stuff that's Tau. It seems like a waste. The Tau generally feel like a waste.
Okay.
But maybe at some point they'll update the range and maybe, put in lore with, more things to do. I just feel like the Tau are sort of like a missed opportunity.
I can understand that.
Luckily though, I will say Tau players are surprisingly one of the nicest kind of players I've played against.
Really?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I've played lots of Warhammer games, and like certain armies that you play against will have certain people that play them. So, like, if you're an arsehole, you just play, like, not Adeptus Custodes. You know what I mean? Like, certain factions will bring, like, that guy player or, like, the arsehole player. Certain factions will bring, like, the chilled out player.
Right.
Tau players really chilled out.
Huh.
They are really chilled out. And every single game I've played against Tau, it's always been fun.
Well,
Because
that's
they
good.
do, like, wacky shit. There's only like a couple of times I've played against a Tau player where it's just been gun lines and like just them being assholes,
Right.
or you know. But yeah, Tau players are just chill. Same with Orc players. Orc players and Tau players are chill. Eldar players are chill. Well, every player's chill. Basically, I'm saying if you play Warhammer, you're like the best.
That's a great thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's chill in Warhammer. Like you can't. Like, you can't be an arsehole. Oh, it's possible to be an arsehole in Warhammer, but then no one plays. So, what? Wasted a lot of money and you're an arsehole. No. Thing is with this, I miss playing Warhammer because England's down. I miss meeting my friends and being silly.
Yeah.
My friends.
I understand that wholeheartedly. What's it called? You know, I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh player, and ever since we've been on lockdown, I know I'm a huge weeb. There's no mystery about that.
You weeb.
But ever since lockdown started, I haven't been able to play at all. So yeah, I miss it.
No wonder you like the Tau, you weeb.
I probably would like the Tau because I'm a weeb, if I'm being honest. I'm like, what's that? Giant mech suits? I love it.
Yeah, I like the giant mech suits. And you know what? If they weren't so like monopose, some of them, I would use suits for like weird conversions. I would happily do it for like my orc army I'm working on.
Okay.
Basically, it'd be like a bunch of orcs just nicking Tau stuff. Because the idea of that's just funny to me.
That does sound like a lot of fun.
The thing is, Tau mechs and stuff are so expensive.
I noticed. As a matter of fact, I think that's how we concluded the orc video, as we looked at some Tau mechs and how expensive they were compared to like regular units. So
they're expensive. I mean, it's not as bad as like Imperial Knight players. Oh, not Imperial Knight vehicles, where it's literally like £200 per model or some bullshit like that.
Right.
It's just Tau are expensive. Tau at the minute have some really old models, and I just want Kroot. Give us more Kroot, Games Workshop. Stop Tau. Give us more Kroot. In fact, you know what would make Tau good?
What's that?
If all of a sudden there's a civil war between the Kroot and the Tau, and like all of a sudden there's a codex called Kroot, and if the tagline is, "I am Kroot, I will sue." I am Kroot. I want there to be like an option for like a full-on Kroot army. I want like a heavy support Kroot, like a big fat Kroot bird thing with like flamethrowers for arms or something. I want Big Silly in my Warhammer game.
I would love that too. That sounds awesome.
I like the Kroot. Don't explain where they come from, actually. With the Kroot, don't give them a like, backstory or anything. Basically, just say the Kroot rebelled from the tower and they fled to some planet somewhere else. That's it. That's all you need. That is all you need, and everyone would be on board. And I would happily play Kroot. Basically, just Kroot are amazing. Tower anime Gundam robots. Reject anime, return to weird bird-looking flamethrower guys. Reject Tau society, return to Kroot.
I love it. So, let me ask this, because This is the next part that we gotta hit up here is what are we talking about next week?
Next week we will probably talk about. Let's talk about the Grey Knights
The Grey
because
Knights. You want to give me a little rundown on them?
no, the Grey Knights are basically Matt Ward ruined the Grey Knights. Then a lot of the stuff the Grey Knights did got retconned, and now they're just angry psychic Doom guys. It's amazing.
I actually do
Basically,
remember you
imagine
bringing this
like
up before.
Yeah, basically, just imagine like Doom guy times a million in Warhammer armor, and
I
they're
love it.
all like, magic powers. That's the Grey Knights, and they're amazing. And they're probably one of my best painted armies I've ever done. They're just so fun. Grey Knights. If you like the psychic phase, then oh boy, you're gonna love Grey Knights. The psychic phase takes, and someone timed this. The psychic phase for an average Grey Knight army takes about 30 minutes.
Whew, holy crap, really?
Depending what spell you want to cast, because you have to say what magic power you want to cast, so there's a lot of talking, and it's like, I cast that on that, and I cast that on that, and I cast that. Everything in the Grey Knight army has psychic abilities. Even the Dreadnought has psychic abilities. The only thing that doesn't have any psychers is the tank, and they don't use Primaris. They're amazing.
Huh.
Yeah, we're going to learn about them next week. Da, 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 da.
I'm excited to. That sounds like a lot of fun. Now, let's
So,
see. Let me see here
You've
real
got to
quick.
edit